Toxic Conan not being made anymore at Amazon Studios. Oh no! Whatever are we going to do? That's the best news ever. It's even old news. Thank God. Welcome to World of Conan, all you barbarians out there. So, by now you've probably seen this news making the rounds that Conan was being developed at Amazon Studios and it's not anymore. Well, I'm kind of surprised that it's now making the news round again, because this is basically old news, but maybe people just didn't know because they hadn't heard from. This news comes basically from Midnight's Edge, who's covered this topic, as well as interviewed Fredrik Malmberg, the guy who oversees all things Conan. And from Fredrik's statements, so this wasn't news to me. This is old news. He moved the project to Netflix. Now, however we feel about Netflix, they've done some really trash jobs recently, like The Witcher and other stuff when adapting the source material, but at least it wasn't, well, I mean, I guess you could, that kind of depends on your viewpoint, but at least they haven't messed up as significantly badly as Amazon has with Wheel of Time and Rings of Power, because those have been complete trash. Looking at it from a fan's standpoint. Now you can say the same thing about a lot of Netflix stuff as well, but if I understood it correctly, the statements from Fredrik Malmberg, and stuff like that, and understanding what Andre from Midnight's Edge has said. The thing is, at Amazon, it was not possible to make a good adaptation of Conan, or the vision how Conan should be, according to Malmberg. So if it was not possible to make that at Amazon, then it's fantastic news that it's dead over there and it's not being made over there, and we can thank our blessings, because as with the track record of Amazon right now, that's fantastic news, because it's complete trash what's been going on over there. So anyway, this news is making the rounds. New report claims Prime Video abandoned Conan the Barbarian TV series because of toxic masculinity. Oh, that phrase again. Hilarious. Oh man. If you think Conan is toxic, you I guess we kind of know what kind of a person, what kind of thinking you have behind you and stuff like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. There's nothing wrong with Conan. Absolutely not. But if this was Amazon thinking, like I said, awesome that it's not being made there in that trash fire. A new report claims Prime Video abandoned a Conan Barbarian TV series to toxic masculinity. Oh, boo-hoo. Cry me a river. A Conan the Barbarian TV series was announced by Deadline back in 2018. The initial announcement, it was revealed that current House of the Dragon showrunner Ryan Condal was behind the series. He was also joined by House of the Dragon showrunner, Game of Thrones star. Listen here, they're gonna go into the they detail this is would retell Conan's origins as he's driven out of his tribal homelands and wanders the mysterious and treacherous. Yeah, the basic story of Conan, as per Howard. Here's the thing. The report also specifically noted that this Conan the Barbarians would be part of Jeff Bezos and Prime Video's answer to Game of Thrones. This is it. I'm so thankful. This is not the direction we're going. I'm so sick of everything trying to be a copy of Game of Thrones. Give it up already. While that show had good seasons, it also was very dreary at points. Like it was missing something. Now that I look back to it, it was missing something. Well, it was fantastic in those in the first seasons, first 4 seasons. There was something missing now that I look back to it, something to make it timeless. And of course, it was utterly destroyed by the later seasons. That last season, whoa, that's some of the most beautiful butchering I've ever seen. But I do not want the Conan TV series to be just another clone Game of Thrones season something. Like, no, just absolutely no. Conan is not some George R.R. Martin figment of his imagination. This is a completely different world. Well, yes, Conan is a savage in one sense, or in many aspects. He is not unnecessarily cruel. He many times looks out for the other peoples. Actually, many times, especially when he's leading armies, leading men, having companions around him. He's mindful of the others, and he puts himself at risk usually. In case of danger, many times gives up treasure for helping out someone else. Like, he is not some mindless savage who would be unnecessarily cruel or does evil for just because he's amoral and does evil just because. That's never been Conan. At least not as I've read him. I mean, if you have a different opinion, I guess that's your view, but this is my channel and this is my view and this is how I see it. So I do not want some carbon copy of Game of Thrones season something. Like, throw that to the trash. Let's get good people with good vision, actually really good fans of the show. Not I'm gonna do my own interpretation of this blah 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 and just spin it to whatever crap they want to put out this year. To bend to this year's thinking, social political thinking. Let's make it timeless, so then it's timeless. And let's have a visionary director like John Milius, who didn't put himself in that way that he put some current thinking in there, but he made it timeless. Even though it deviated from the source material, he made it timeless. And the music timeless, the direction timeless, beautiful landscapes, beautiful shots, and made it sing, made the whole movie sing. Do that in the TV form. If that is seemingly being the route now, then try to emulate that thinking. Make that happen. Make a fantastic series. Adapt Horde. You do not need to make immediately something original stories. You can trying to actually adapt Howard stories. It is possible. It is a written word. They're not impossible to adapt. You can easily make fantastic series out of those, like, let's say, Black Colossus, Wolves Beyond the Border, or Beyond the Black River, I mean. I'm always mixing up those two for some reason, I don't know why. Or Red Nails, or whatever, like, you can make. Anyway. A little over a year ago, or the Conan Barbarians never came to fruition at Amazon in 2020. Producer Fredrik Malmberg moved the project to Netflix, where he's working on both live action and animated adaptation of the character. yes, bring me something good, please. I just so hope they don't mess this up. I mean, it's probably... Well, I'm gonna defer to Andre of Midnight's Edge, and I'm gonna hold out hope for this, because Malmberg has shown, at least in his words, that he wants to hold on to Conan as he was written. Like, even what you think about the 2011 movie Jason Momoa, really crappy script, bland acting, location, horrible direction. That the best thing was the beginning, and that was it. The director was a complete misfire. You should never have chosen that director. Never. Look at that guy's CV. Look at that guy's other movies. He's mid-tier, or like low tier at best. At absolute peak, he's passable popcorn movie that you like in one eye and out the other. Like, it's like, who cares? Like, matters nothing, and he's really cringy. Like, every movie I've seen of his has really cringy parts. Incredibly bad decision. So, but even though that movie was what it was, the Conan in it was fairly close to Howard's writings. In that, what I mean, it didn't deviate like you could see that it wasn't meant to deviate to something completely different, but it was pretty close to Howard's Conan. So, and they used Howard's some of his scripts, or I mean, like, some of his writing in the script. So that's what I mean. So I'm choosing to be hopeful about this, because I don't want to live in the negative. And also, yeah, let's wait on this. A little over a year ago, Malmberg indicated they had moved forward in the production of the live-action series and begun writing the series. Malmberg explained, "With Conan, I'm happy to say we are in development, which means we basically work with a writer who has written the first draft of the pilot of the series and the season overview. So we are working together with Netflix team, obviously with COVID. It's been blah 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 blah. Starting progress, and yes, blah blah blah." I guess the news is here that the news come from Andre from Midnight's Edge, that it was cut from Amazon due to toxic masculinity. Well, you know, that's... I could swear I heard this before when they did the move, that this was it. Maybe I heard it on one of Midnight's Edge streams. But anyway, who cares, one way or the other. Doesn't surprise me. Like, the current era of writing seemingly normal men or extraordinary men, like Conan, who is a survivor. Somehow that's toxic masculinity, which is absolutely laughable. The man comes from a harsh environment, made to survive, basically being in countless wars, being backstabbed how many times, like people betrayed him, people have tried to kill him, monsters have tried to kill him. Like, he's a honed specimen with great talents and also tactical thinking and a general, etc., and ultimately a king, a good king, because he actually deposes an awful tyrant, and he's actually beloved by the people and hated by the nobles, which is how it usually goes if you're beloved by the people, because the nobles want to, you know, take advantage. Andre says Bezos wanted something which would enable Amazon to dominate the fantasy market. That's going really well. How's that butchering of Tolkien going? Oh my days. To make the dominance complete, though, they weren't looking for just the Game of Thrones, but two. Oh man, this Game of Thrones thinking like. Not everything fantasy thing is Game of Thrones. I know you think like you need to exactly replicate to make the success. No, different properties have a different angle, and Conan's world and stuff like that. That's not Game of Thrones. It has its own world, own characteristics. It's not a carbon copy of George R. R. Martin's writing and thinking and his medieval setting. It's not at all that. Yeah, I'm so glad that this didn't go through in the Amazon forest of vaporware. After detailing the Lord of the Rings was their path to dominate the market. Einherjar details that Conan Barbarian was their initial property to capture the more adult market. Amazon wanted the Lord of the Rings to capture the family market, but to be their Game of Thrones, to take over the Game of Thrones. Oh, Game of Thrones. You know, I used to be I'm an OG Game of Thrones fan, not anymore, but I was. I read the books. I was there to pick up a copy of Feast of Crows when it came out, and I had read all the books before that, and I absolutely loved the first three books. Feast of Crows was a disappointment, but I liked it still. And then it took like forever till I read the last one. Then obviously the show came, which I was super excited for, and then I loved in the beginning, but already in the beginning I noticed like that they were skipping so much, and that kind of took me a bit out of it, but you know, you let that slide and you understand, you go on. But what they did to that book series, I'm so over it. I don't care about no House of Dragon and stuff like that. I just don't care about the whole world of Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, and all that stuff. Like, I don't care. I don't have time for that. I zero cares. I'm on to Conan and being much more into Conan because it's better, in my opinion. Better, much better. Thank you. Much more better stuff to collect and read and watch and listen to. Okay, stop messing about. It was the perfect property to feel the same need as blah blah Game of Thrones. Perfect showrun for drawing on the Conan fame, and the scripts he had written were extremely true to the original Robert E. Howard. I mean, that's good if it was like that, but yeah, I just don't want any carbon copies of something from in the Game of Thrones mold. I'm so over it. And then explains how it all went wrong, but then executives who had commissioned Conan in the first place were Me Too. I'm sorry. That's just. I'm sorry. That's just kind of. It's just a reoccurring theme. It seems to be like. Oh, these guys had a great thing there, and then Me Too. Then it was really toxic. The stuff they were doing, very toxic. I mean, there's scripts and stuff that she came in to clean up Amazon, both in terms of culture and content. I mean, I guess proof is in the pudding. Way to go, Amazon! You go, girl. You do your stuff, and make that awesome content, whatever you guys are making over there now. Yeah, I won't be watching it, and I haven't. He then specifically claims Salk canned the show due to toxic masculinity. Oh, people. people using that. Seriously, it's funny. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's obviously abusive people, abusive men, as there are abusive women. It's just that word. That word comes with a lot of more. It's charged with a lot more than what it appears to be, and replaced it with the Wheel of Time. Oh, I forgot. Even though I put it in the intro, I forgot. Oh yeah, Wheel of Time. Oh, dude, they completely butchered that as well. Shame on Amazon for Lord of the Rings and Wheel of Time. Thankfully they didn't get Conan. Shame on them. Wheel of Time. I've read at least 5 books. 6 books of Wheel of Time. Really thoroughly enjoy them. Great world. Great characters. Classic story. Obviously emulating Lord of the Rings. As per Mr. Jordan himself. Mr. Jordan also wrote, some say, the best Conan stories after Horde. Haven't gotten around to them yet, but I would definitely believe that they are really good. I have to read those actually. There's a lot of Wheel of Time books. I kind of lost interest in the sixth. Was it the 6th book? I think it was. It was just kind of bogged down, so I kind of stopped, and then I got distracted and started to read probably something else and left it. Anyway, it's a good book series though, with a intricate world, and it's really sad what obviously they did to that show, completely annihilating a great world, great story, great characters. Just look, Shaw Diversity made videos about Wheel of Time. It's just another one bites the dust. It's so sad. Like I heard someone say in some video, or some content creator said, "We live in the best timeline. There's so many fantasy stuff coming out. There's so many." Like, yeah, I guess if you're not a fan of those properties, if you're just like a casual coming in and you don't know anything about anything, I mean, I guess they might be. I can understand that, but even most of those are not liking these because they're so poorly written. So to me, it's just incredibly sad because finally they are doing fantasy and stuff like that, but they're completely messing it up. Like, where are the writers? They're just like fired every competent writer and put people in place to write like teenagers. It's so cringe. Oof. Such a disrespect to all these great writers like Jordan and Tolkien. Right. So anyway, yeah, as such, Ryan Conan was fired, Conan was scrapped, Jeff Salk picked up Wheel Time to get more adult-oriented. Although she made sure to make it even more female-centered than it already was. Yeah, this is exactly like they are. Same stuff with a lot of other properties, you know, just like... Anyway, then it was absolutely no toxic. What do you make of this report? Well, I make of this report fantastic. Thank you, Lord, that it's not coming out in this trash fire that is Amazon right now. Thank you. You don't have to watch that anymore, or have to see that. So, guys, what do you think? It's supposedly it's coming on Netflix. Hopefully it will be true. I know a lot of people have misgivings. I don't blame you. Truly, I do not blame you. And there's a Solomon Kane TV series supposedly coming out as well from Frederick Malmberg. They're doing. I'm, like I said, I'm gonna hold on to hope with these projects. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt to Frederick Malmberg to keeping his word and making decent. Like, I think they will be at least decent. They won't be complete trash fires as those two series, Rings of Power and Wheel of Time. So I know it might have problems, but I'm gonna choose to believe. But I understand if you do not. It's hard with so much lack of respect, so much disrespect made to so many great authors and their stories. It's hard to look and think they're not gonna completely butcher everything they touch. But we'll have to wait to see, and I'll see you Barbarians on the next video. Hail Conan. Also, women, am I right?